Good afternoon, Fin fans, and welcome back to another episode of AT Fins News. Today we're going to be discussing the Miami Dolphins head coaching search for the upcoming season. So without further ado, let's just get right into it, shall we? So after winning against the New England Patriots, the Miami Dolphins finished on a high note. And as a fan, or for the majority of fans at least, we really didn't see this coming as far as Brian Flores getting fired. But I mean, it's the Miami Dolphins. It's the world we're living in right now. There's no reason to really harp on it any further about Brian Flores. We know he was a great defensive coach. He couldn't really figure out the offense, but overall, he was a pretty good head coach for us. At least one of the best head coaches we've had in the last, I would say, 10 years or so. So, I mean, it is what it is. No reason to cry about it or think about Brian Flores. Let's move forward and let's see what kind of candidates we have out there that can try to bring a winning culture to the Miami Dolphins. So I'm sure you guys have heard the Dolphins have already asked for permission to interview a few candidates. The first one is Brian Daboll. It looks like he's having his interview Sunday, so I believe it's after, because the Bills and Patriots play tonight at 5, so he will be interviewing on Sunday for the head coaching position for the Dolphins. I mean, he's kind of a popular name right now in the Dolphin community just because they do know that he did work with Tua in Alabama as I believe the offensive coordinator or quarterbacks coach, but it was only for Tua's or freshman year in college. So for everyone that wants to keep Tua here, they're looking at Brian Daboll as a guy that maybe can get the most out of Tua, something that Flores couldn't do. So Brian Daboll's been coming up a lot more and more. He's the offensive coordinator right now for the Buffalo Bills. I'm sure you guys know. He's helped develop Josh Allen, so that's a promising sign. But, I mean, I think it's two different situations. Since we did fire Flores, I'm leaning more towards maybe a proven coach, a coach that's been a head coach before, so he can bring that Rolodex of assistant coaches with him. Because if you notice, Flores, I mean, the defensive side of the ball was top-notch, like I said, but we kept having turnover after turnover with the head coach, or not head coaches, but offensive coordinators. Every year he was here, we've had, 3 changes at the offensive position as well as line position. We kept having turnover, and as you see, our line wasn't getting any better. So I understand Brian Daboll's a hot commodity, but I would kind of, unless we couldn't get a proven head coach, I would stay away from Brian Daboll for now. We also are interviewing Leslie Frazier. He's going to be interviewing on Sunday as well. He used to be the coach for the Vikings for years. He does have some experience, but for personally, even Omar Kelly tweeted this out that Leslie Frazier is not really an upgrade, a defensive mind upgrade over Brian Flores. So if you're going to bring Leslie Frazier in to be your head coach, why wouldn't you just keep Flores? Because he's on another level when it comes to Leslie Frazier on the defensive side of the ball. He really doesn't know offense, just like Flores. So, I mean, they're interviewing him. We'll see how he interviews, see if he gets a second interview. But with Leslie Frazier as well, I'd kind of steer away from because he's just not as good on the defensive side of the ball as Flores. So it'll feel like we're taking a step back. And if we're firing Flores like we did, we need to take a step forward. We're all tired as Dolphin fans. Every 3 to 4 years this happens. And then when you think you actually have a good head coach, he gets fired anyway, so we're doing the same old thing, like we're rebuilding. We need to just stay pat, and we need to build that camaraderie and keep a coach for more than 3-4 years and see him grow into the position. But since we didn't do that, I feel like it's probably time to get that proven head coach instead of a hot offensive coordinator or a hot defensive coordinator like we've done for so many times. Let's go out there and get a prove-it coach. But Leslie Frazier is interviewing on Sunday, so we'll see how that goes. We've also heard names like Mike Daniels from the 49ers that they requested an interview. He's, from all accounts, he's well-respected in the football community. He's a really good offensive mind. He comes up with all the offensive schemes for the San Francisco 49ers right now. He is really young. He reminds me of kind of like an Adam Gase kind of, where he's just really offensive minded centric. But he knows how to dissect a lot of plays. If you've seen him in interviews, he's really good. He's a really intelligent guy, and I feel like he will be a good head coach eventually. But again, same theme. That's another another new head coach that doesn't have a big Rolodex as far as getting assistant coaches. And we've seen this time and time again as Dolphin fans, guys. It doesn't usually work out. We're looking for a new coach in 3 to 4 years. So even though he seems like a great coach, he might be a great head coach in the future. He might be a little too young and not. He hasn't been in the league long enough as far as being a coach that he might be able to bring good enough assistant coaches to make this team better than it was before. So, again, unless he interviews really well and he just blows away Stephen Ross and Chris Greer, I don't see how he becomes the new head coach for the Dolphins. But, who knows? I mean, you just got to wait, and time will let us know what happens. But as of right now, he'll probably be he's probably in the top 10 of head coaching searches, but as of right now, I would stay away from him. We also are going to interview Dan Quinn. Now, Dan Quinn's a kind of an interesting choice because he's been there, done that. He has been a head coach before in the league. He actually took the Falcons to the Super Bowl that one year, if you don't remember, when they lost to the Patriots when they blew that 28-3 lead. So he's been there. He's a great defensive mind. He was actually the defensive coordinator for the Seahawks with the Legion of Boom in their heyday. So, I mean, he is really great defensive mind, but he can also bring in offensive coordinators. The only thing that scares me about Dan Quinn is his best years in Atlanta was when he had who is their offensive coordinator? It was Shanahan. That's the head coach from the 49ers now. That was the year they went to the Super Bowl. That was the year Matt Ryan was the MVP of the league. So who knows if Dan Quinn can bring that type of offensive coordinator at that level, because Shanahan's one of the offensive geniuses in this league. So that's the only thing that I would shy away from. But I kind of like the Dan Quinn interview just because, like I said, this time around I would really like to see a proven head coach in this league that has been fired, that it's their second go-around, because we keep doing the same thing over and over as Dolphin organization, bringing in brand new head coaches that are offense or defensive coordinators. Or I want to get a coach, like I said, that's been there, done that, and knows how to build the staff. But Dan Quinn's interesting, like I said, as long as he can let the organization know who he thinks he can bring in as the offensive coordinator to help this team grow on the offensive end, because that's what we need. But it's interesting. Another interesting guy that's coming out that we requested interview is Callum Moore. The only reason I say that, I know I've been telling you guys that I want to prove it coach, but he's just an interesting choice for me because the Cowboys' offense has been top 5 in the league since he's taken over. He's pretty much been groomed from the Cowboys to be a coach after his playing days, because he didn't play that long in the NFL, but he did play for the Cowboys, and I think Jerry Jones thinks he's really intelligent on the offensive side. So that intrigues me, but that still doesn't say that's who I want as our next head coach. But it is intriguing just because I think he is a really good offensive mind, and he can grow into the role if the Dolphins organization allowed him to grow into the role instead of letting him go in 3 to 4 years like we have in the past. But the names that I really want the Dolphins to pursue, and I forgot one more, and you can't forget Eric Bieniemy from the Chiefs. He's been deserving a head coaching position for years now. And if it wasn't for my mentality right now about we need a prove-it coach, I would be all for Eric Bieniemy. I mean, I think he is going to be a better coach than Flores just because of his personality. You can see it. He's a real like a player's coach. He can bring in a staff because he's been in the league for such a long time. He's under the Andy Reid tree. And the Andy Reid tree doesn't really get much better than that as far as being a good NFL head coaches. So he would probably be my top of coordinators that I would want to be the head coach of this team. But again, I'm kind of pushing away from that right now. But we'll see in the future. We'll see how the interviews go. But the candidates I really want the Dolphins to pursue, there's 3 names, guys. It's going to be Jim Harbaugh. If he does want to leave Michigan, why wouldn't Stephen Ross want to pursue him? I mean, he's a Michigan alumni. Stephen Ross throws millions at Michigan's university to help them build. Jim Harbaugh, the Harbaugh family, and Ross are really tight. So I would say it's a no-brainer if he wants to leave Michigan. I mean, we should be getting on that plane right away and flying to Ann Arbor and trying to pick him up because he can build a great staff. He's been in the Super Bowl. He has a great record when he was the 49ers coach, and it'll be a second go-around. I love coaches that have the second go-around because they can learn from their mistakes. And so Harbaugh's a no-brainer. He can even probably bring Vic Fangio with him as his defensive coordinator because he did get let go from the Broncos last week. So that would just be a perfect pairing to start off and then build his coaching staff from there. But he's number 1. Number 2, I love me some Jim Caldwell. If you look at that guy's record, man, he went to the Super Bowl with the Colts. They lost to the Saints in that Super Bowl. But what really impresses me is he went to the Ravens after, and they won the Super Bowl. He was the offensive coordinator for the Ravens that year with Joe Flacco. They won the Super Bowl that year. Then he goes to the Lions, and you know how much of a laughingstock the Lions have been over the recent years, and he went to 2 playoff appearances with the Lions. I mean, that's an accomplishment in itself. I know they didn't win a game, but still, just to get those Lions into the playoffs for 2 out of his 3 years, I mean, that's an accomplishment in itself. You know he can coach. You know he can build his staff. He was already in the Dolphins locker room. I know it was only for a short period of time because he didn't get along with Flores, and he said something about health concerns, which a lot of fans don't really believe, and now he's ready to come coach again. But if he's healthy, if all the reports are saying that he's ready to come back and be a head coach, he has to be on the top of our list just because he's been there, done that. He's a pretty damn good head coach, guys, and he'll be able to help this offense exponentially from what we've seen in the last 3 years. So I'm hoping for him. And the third coach that I would like to see the Dolphins be highly interested in and maybe give the job to is Doug Pederson. I know a lot of fans are hesitant because how Doug Pederson left the Eagles, the locker room kind of gave up on him, but a lot of these coaches that get fired for the first time, they lose the locker room for some reason. And if you remember, he pretty much lost the locker room because he had no faith in Carson Wentz. But what did the Eagles organization do after they got rid of Doug Pederson? They let Carson Wentz go to the Colts, so it's not like they really had that much confidence in him either. So I think Doug Pederson in Miami, he has ties with Dan Marino. He was Dan Marino's backup in the NFL, so I mean, maybe that connection can lure him to Miami. But if the Dolphins are serious about hiring a proven head coach, Doug Pederson has to be at the top of the list just because he became a head coach really fast in this league. So he went through all the necessary steps quicker than a lot of people do to become a head coach. He's from the Andy Reid tree, like I said, so that's one of the most successful trees that the NFL has right now. So you got to love that. He can build a good staff. I mean, the staff he built in Philadelphia on that Super Bowl run was amazing. They had talent everywhere. He won the Super Bowl. He's a winner. He beat the New England Patriots. We all love that, right? So he can win at the highest level in the most pressure moments. So, I mean, he has to be up there. And I believe because he was let go from the Eagles or they parted ways after that season, he's going to be hungry. He's going to learn from those mistakes, and he's going to want to prove that he can win on another team. It wasn't just a 1 year like fluke. He can be a head coach in this league and be a damn good one. So those are the top 3 candidates for me that are prove it coaches. If we're going to go for like an offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator, even though I'm not really in favor of it, I would say Eric Bieniemy is number 1. Callum Moore, just because it's really intriguing to me. He's young and he knows how to develop an offense, and the stats just prove it. Or Dan Quinn. Those are my top 3. You can throw Brian Dable in there as well if we're gonna keep Tua because he's worked with him before. But who knows if any coach that comes and wants to work with him. It's just we have to just wait and see, guys. I mean, we're kind of in a flux right now. Hopefully they can get the coaching search complete sooner rather than later, just because the Senior Bowl for college is coming up, and I would like to have a head coach for that, just so he can go out there and see what kind of players he needs to fill out this roster. But we'll see, man. Like I said, we just got to wait and see. But other than that, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I'll be uploading a new video either Monday or Tuesday. Unless any breaking news happens, I'll get on and chat with you guys for a little bit. But other than that, guys, I love and appreciate each and every one of you guys for supporting the channel. If you guys can just hit that like button and make sure you hit that subscribe button. You just hit the subscribe and you'll get notifications whenever I upload a video, so you can stay current and up to date and help this channel grow organically, guys. All right, I'm out of here, guys. Peace.